Hey, what's up guys? Devin here with Backcountry Exposure. Thanks for joining me today. Recently I posted on my community tab asking you as viewers to ask me any questions that you might have about the channel, about backpacking, family camping, just really anything that you would like to have during this Q&A session. But before we jump into that, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, go ahead and hit that bell notification so that you know exactly when I post new videos, because it's a little bit random right now and I'm not on the same schedule that I have been for the past several months. Things are a little bit different for my family right now. I'm not able to film quite as much content as I was in the past, and so uploads are a little bit more random, and if you click that bell notification, then you know exactly when I post new videos at those random times. But weekly content, I promise, weekly content no matter what. So let's jump into the first question, which comes from Zombie Redfield. This guy's awesome. I don't know his name, but we have been conversing back and forth in comments for a while, and I've really appreciated your comments and your interaction on the channel. But he asks, when are you doing a video with Dan Becker? LOL. And do you still use your Gregory optic? Dan and I have been chatting a lot, and we've been trying to figure out a way for he and I to be able to get together, whether it's me going out there or him coming out here to Utah, which everybody should come to Utah because this place is amazing. Everybody should have an opportunity to backpack and just spend time in the outdoors here in Utah. So we're working on it. As far as the Gregory optic, a little bit sad information there. I sold my Gregory optic. I don't have that pack anymore, and I replaced it with the Osprey Levity 45, and I'm kind of regretting making that decision. I just have not enjoyed the Levity as much as I enjoyed carrying the optic. I do now have a Gregory Zulu, which is a little bit heavier, slightly different design pack, but I'm probably going to end up getting another optic, to be quite honest, and we'll see how this Levity pans out. So that's that. So the next question comes from my good friend Corbin from the Wasatch Gear Review. Make sure you check out his backpacking outdoor YouTube channel as well. Goes on a lot of trips and really cool stuff to see. But he asks a pretty cool question because he's a creator, and a lot of people that I interact with are creators as well here on on YouTube. But he says, what keeps you excited about making content? And that really is a good question. For me, making content, Corbin, is important to do for myself. And I really focus on making content that I'm excited about and doing topics that I personally want to share, that are learning experiences for me to then share with everybody that watches the channel and is interested in backpacking. I stay motivated because this is a way for me to release from the other things in my life that keep me busy and active, and it's a good mental thing for me to be able to have that kind of mental exercise. So that's what keeps me motivated to keep making content and to be able to try a bunch of different things. I really enjoy the process, and as you and I have talked about several times in person, I just enjoy making videos. I enjoy the creative aspect to it, and that's hard to not want to continue to do that all the time. The next question comes from JS Outdoors. Will you ever travel over to the UK? If you do, I recommend going to Scotland. It's so beautiful and wild. Man, I just got finished watching Darwin's and Bigfoot, Follow Bigfoot, both of theirs TGO challenge, I think it's called, in Scotland, I believe. And man, what an incredible place. Like, I just am blown away at just how beautiful that, like, Western Europe area is, and I would love to go backpacking and just spend time recreating in Europe. The only time I have traveled outside of the country was like 2 years ago. I went to Peru for 10 days, saw Machu Picchu, and spent time in the jungle, hiked to some really cool waterfalls. That's the only time I have spent outside of the United States, and so it was a different experience, and it was something that I would like to do more of, but I just don't know that right now that's in the cards with all of the various different bucket list things that I have planned to do in that regard. Sam Fuller asks, have you taken the fam on a backcountry camping trip yet? How to balance kids gear necessities / luxuries since they can't haul their own load. If you've done this, would love a trip report and gear list, thanks. So no, I have 2 kids, 2 girls, and their ages are almost 4 and almost 3. And they're not quite old enough at this point to really take backpacking. I do hike with them as much as possible, and I spend as much time with them family camping in the backcountry. We just spent 5 days in Wyoming camping up one of our favorite, most beautiful places. The hope was to get my oldest out on a trip this year. We'll see if that happens, but likely next year will be the first year that I actually take my kids, my girls, backpacking. I purchased that Jet 12 backpack from Osprey, and that is what I'm going to be using for her to be able to carry the few items of gear that she will be carrying. So once I have all of that available to be able to share, I definitely will share that, because I find that that is a unique thing for somebody to take their kid out that young. Wasatch Will, he's a great person to be able to see taking his kids out backpacking. So if you're not familiar with Wasatch Will, check out his channel and see all of the various different trips that he's taken his kids on, from, I think he's got like a 12-year-old down to like a 5 or 6-year-old that he's taken out. And that would be a good way to see kind of what it's like to go out with a kid that is within that 6 to 12-year-old range. So check out Wasatch Will, because that's gonna be a good place to go. The next question comes from Footprints and Tire Tracks. Kids gear. Told Dan, referring to Dan Becker, I assume, that he needs to do the same thing. Would be interested to compare the two. And I actually saw Dan post on his community tab today about backpacking with kids. He says, we have 2 big trips coming up next year, which will involve our first time in really cold weather, likely snow. Yeah, same thing, just to answer, kind of going back to what I was talking about with Sam Fuller. You can see a lot of the stuff that I take family camping. In fact, I have a video that talks about the family camping gear that we have and what it's like for me to go out with my kids. And I've got several trip videos that show kids gear and that kind of stuff. But I do have some reviews coming up that talk about the specific sleep systems that I use for my girls. And it's not going to be quite the review that you think it will be, because I'm not totally psyched on that backpacking system or that sleep system for my kids, but it's cool stuff. Favorite Utah trip location and best Utah outdoor store. Ooh. If you know anything about me, you know I have a sweet spot in my heart for the Escalante, Burr Trail, Capitol Reef area of Utah. The Capitol Reef National Park, around the Burr Trail and the Escalante Canyons, just in the Death Hollow Wilderness, all of that area has a really, really like sweet spot in my heart. I love that area, and that might be the best Utah trip location. But the Uinta Mountains are really hard to deny their amazingness. And in fact, I've got a little bit of a surprise and an announcement that I'm going to share in another video about the Uinta Mountains that I'm really stoked about, that I hopefully you as the viewers will be excited about as well. I'm trying to like work out some pretty cool details on what that surprise, what that announcement is. But in the best Utah outdoor store, Cabela's or Scheels, I don't know. We don't really have like, I mean, we have REI, Cabela's, Scheels, all of those like kind of chain big box type of stores. But there's several really cool like outfitters type stores that I couldn't say which one is the best one. Mike Presley asks, if you could only hike/camp in one place in Utah, where would it be and why? I'll go back to the same answer that I just gave to my favorite Utah trip location, and that's the Burr Trail, Capitol Reef, Escalante Canyons area, the Grand Staircase, Escalante National Monument. The Bears Ears National Monument area, Cedar Mesa would be a close second. And then I can't say it would be a close second because the Uintas and the Wasatch Mountains. I mean, where I'm sitting at right now in the mountains, at my grandparents' cabin up in a beautiful canyon. Like, I can't place a favorite. I can't play favorites. I can't do that. Sorry. Janet Starr asks, "Yep, I'm at the point of verging into overnight backpacking. Kids are 14, 12, and 9, and 2 of the 3 barely started carrying their own day packs on a full 8-mile day hike. So even though your kids are younger, I'd like to hear any advice." I'm gonna have to do a separate video on this because this is not something that I can just give a quick short answer on advice, but the quick, really specific thing that I would say when hiking with kids is go at their pace and do things that they are excited about. If they want to stop and play in the sand, which I am guilty of pushing my kids and saying, "Get out of the sand," and start walking and start moving. But let them enjoy and experience the trail at their own pace and their own desires, so that it's not something that you're pushing them, forcing them, and making it possibly something that they may not enjoy because you were throwing the hammer down so hard and saying, "You gotta move, you gotta do this, and you have to walk this fast." And just go at their pace and let them enjoy the experience themselves. And then make sure that you plan trips for yourself that allow you to go out solo or with friends that don't have that aspect of having kids with you, so that you can enjoy the trail separately in a different mindset. Joe Sago asks, "Sierra Designs Cloud 800 20-degree bag or quilt?" That's a tough question because I just adore that Sierra Designs Cloud 800. It's a phenomenal sleeping bag and definitely recommend that. But I recently got the UGQ Bandit top quilt. Holy crap. That quilt is incredible, and one of the best sleeping experiences I have had is with that UGQ quilt. I've had several other nights, dozens of nights in the Perea Outdoor Products quilts, the Outdoor Vitals Stormloft quilt, and Hammock Gear quilts, and that UGQ quilt it's money. I would definitely, either one of those would be an amazing piece of gear to have on a trip in the backcountry. Nunya asks, "Merino wool gear versus polyester gear, down versus polyester cold weather trip." I carry both merino wool as well as down products and synthetic products, and they all have their pros and cons for the different conditions that you might be experiencing. Right now, this jacket that I'm wearing, even though it's the middle of August, it's like 60 degrees where I'm at right now, and this is a synthetic jacket that is perfect for taking the chill off and just being a lightweight product. But if I'm going to like really want to have good heat capture and just like thermal regulation, then I focus on down and merino products. The merino as a base layer that allows for wicking of sweat, as well as being able to just stay warm, even though it may get dry from sweat, or make it wet from being sweaty hiking in it, and I can still stay warm and cool. So merino is an amazing product, and the Ortovox products are featuring a lot of merino wool in them, and that's a product that I've been using a lot lately and really enjoy. But down products, they all have their place, and maybe I'll talk about that in a different video at another time. Now the last question, this came from Instagram because I asked for Instagram DMs, and it comes from Amy Rout. Check out her channel as well, but she is local here in Utah as well. We have yet to meet each other, even though we frequent the same location, which is a climbing gym, and she called me out in a small way, asking me if, yes, I manage an indoor rock climbing gym, but she called me out by saying, "Do you even rock climb?" And she's not the only one to have asked that question. My My employees that I manage ask me that question all the time. And I've been climbing for like almost 20 years, and I have taken a little bit of a sabbatical, I guess you could say, from really focusing on climbing. Backpacking has taken my time and attention and everything. I've got young kids, so yes, I still climb. I climb in the gym, but I have not had a day outside for the last 2 seasons, and so that should change. I really definitely need to get outside and do some climbing. So there you go, guys. That is a Q&A session. Maybe we'll do more of these. Let me know down in the comments if you would like to see more Q&A sessions. I will typically post on the community tab saying, hey, I'm going to do a Q&A. What questions do you have for me about X and Y topics? And then we can talk about it. So it's a little bit easier way to have a more casual conversation with you guys. So let me know if you like these and if it's something you'd want to have more of on the channel. But thanks for watching. Have an awesome day, guys. See you on the next video. Adios. That was dumb.